Good afternoon, all. Welcome to another exciting webinar hosted by ANTA. I'm Dinesh Mandal, the coordinator of the session. We have invited Mr. Giri and Ms. Sweta as experts to present a live and free session on financial literacy. The program will start with introduction by the experts, followed by their presentation. In between, the floor will be open for short Q&A sessions, which Giri and Sweta will entertain. We have 30 minutes of Q&A session at the end, where we will try to answer as much as questions coming from the audience. The audience can post their questions on Zoom or on the Facebook. The entire session can be viewed over Zoom and Facebook Live. In order to see the Facebook live stream, the audience is requested to visit ANTA Facebook page and then follow the stream. And in the chat window there itself, you can post your questions as on when the presentation flows. The ANTA president will conclude the program once Q&A session is done. Once the webinar is over, ANTA will upload the session on its website. And for your information, this Zoom session is recorded and it would be uploaded onto ANTA website. Now over to the experts, Mr. Giri and Ms. Sweta. Welcome to the webinar and thank you for your time to present this learning series. Over to you, Mr. Giri.
Yeah, can I see my screen, Dinesh?
Yeah, we can see.
Yeah. So with that, I think Sweta ji, you can get started and then we'll continue with that.
Sure. Hello, everyone. Namaste. मेरा सफर एंटा में कुछ साल पहले शुरू हुआ था. It's 2015. I'm the member. Financial planning. कुछ साल पहले मेरा एक accident हुआ था, which a personal story, but me and my husband was in the accident and both were severely injured. जब घर वापस आए और 5 साल के बेटे को देखा जब वो हंस रहा था, तो सवाल उस समय ये सवाल पहली बार उठा कि इस स्माइल का क्या होता अगर आज डिसेबल हो गए रहते या नहीं रहते, तो उस समय फिर शुरू हुआ सवालों का सिलसिला. And then I started looking for answers. बहुत लोगों से पूछा, दोस्तों से, कलीग से, नेबर से कि क्या करना चाहिए. कुछ बहुत ठोस नहीं मिला. ये समझ में आया कि बहुतों को नहीं पता है. Then I met Giri ji and उनसे बहुत सारे सेशंस के बाद समझ में आया कि यस क्या करना चाहिए, क्या नहीं करना चाहिए, and how much we don't know. बहुत सारी चीजें हैं जो कि बहुत कम समय में बहुत छोटे से शुरू किया जा सकता है, but we don't know anything about it. So then I joined Giriji in his team, and I'm so happy for everyone to join and the process of learning. And thank you for your time. कि this एक बहुत छोटा कदम फ्यूचर के लिए बहुत helpful साबित हो सकता है. That is just my experience. So over to you, Giriji.
Oh, thank you, Sweta ji. I've been working with Sweta ji for almost a year now, and my journey with her and asking the question that she's asking, I can understand the perspective of where she is coming from. So I was able to help both Sweta ji and her family with a lot of solutions that would suit them primarily, correct? That's what I do all day in, day out. Okay. So with this, I want to start the presentation. This session is information sharing. As Dinesh ji mentioned, thank you, Dinesh ji, and accepting our request to give opportunity for us to share again. We did this almost a year back, and we got a good response that time, and we wanted to come back and educate. So if you see my presentation here, the goal is educate 1 million people in our lifetime. So that is our goal, big goal it is. That's why we don't hesitate to call people and talk to them. You know what, hey, I want to do a presentation to your organization, 10 people, 15 people, 100 people, 500 people, no problem, correct? We keep doing it. So this goal of this presentation is primarily focused on education. And I really don't want people to take decisions based on the slides that you're going to see today. I really wanted to go and do research, talk to somebody that you trust. And then if you think what are the suggestions that I'm giving would help you, for you, basically make sure that you take right decisions, okay? Especially when talking about the money, correct? We have to be really, really careful about where you put your money safely. That's very important, okay? With me, I was a software development manager before, and I think last time, Dineshji, when I joined the presentation last time, I was doing this as a part-time. I quit my job 2 months back, and full-time now in this business and helping people, educating people, empowering people. So far, we were almost 6,000 to 7,000 people we educated through Zoom and in-person seminars all over the US. I do travel a lot. Last week I was in Texas. Next month I'm planning to. I will be in Cary, North Carolina. I will be in Washington DC. I do travel a lot. Help people, meet people there, all the stuff. And before that, I also have a social entrepreneur. Like most of you are associated with the nonprofit. I also run a nonprofit, so it's called Spandana Foundation. So we do help people in India, especially. I'm from India, so we do a lot of charity. We have orphanage. We have 2 old age homes. We do give scholarships for more than 50 kids every year for higher education, like engineering and medicine. I run nonprofit. I actually involved in the community, and I love what I do basically. So I want to give back to the community. That's how I am here. I really thankful to all the committee members, Tuleshwar ji, Mridula ji, Dinesh ji, for the opportunity for me to be here today. And this is my privilege to share what I learned. That is really my privilege. Thank you for that. With that, I always start with the this presentation with the which one about with the basic, correct? What is happening with the market? If you look at this, the biggest thing is people are talking about inflation. So currently it is almost 9% plus inflation. So what does it mean, correct, for people? Whatever we are buying, let's say last year we bought something for $100. Same thing if you want to buy this year is going to cost $109. Okay, we may don't feel the same way. Oh, you know what? That's okay. But think about this. Somebody is having $100,000 retirement income every year. Now they have to take $110,000 retirement income, meaning they're going to deplete their retirement portfolio much sooner because of the inflation. Correct? That's a big problem that people may have. Number 2 also is we may have certain savings every month, correct? Because of the inflation, our salaries did not increase by 10%. You know that a lot of people working on a job, the 10% growth in a year is generally not possible in a salary unless you switch your job, get a promotion and other stuff. Most of the people don't get that. So problem I'm trying to make here is people may not save enough as compared to last year because of the inflation. So their plans, projections may not be true anymore because inflation is actually eating up a lot of the growth that they're anticipated to have. So this also led for a lot of people to change their jobs. You know that, correct? For example, I'll come back to that one later here. 4 million people resigned in 1 month. Can you believe that? 4 million people. What does it mean? They want to find other jobs. They want to hire high-paying jobs so that they can compensate that inflation. They can compensate better work-life balance. There's a lot of things happening here. Okay. So with that, I also talk about unemployment rate. So unemployment rate during COVID, it gone to 15% approximately. Correct? When you say 15% unemployment rate means people, especially people who are in let's say my classmates, a lot of them, they lost their jobs during this pandemic. They took 6 months to 9 months, some of them, to get back to job market. Why I'm saying this is when people always they will be comfortable with what they're doing. They work for 10 years, 15 years in the same place. Now, when they need to look for another job, they start back from going back to preparing resume again, sharpening their skill set of talking and interviews and all the stuff. It takes time for people. When that time we are competing with the entire people, right? It's not based on your credibility in the company. You just look at your profile, look at your experience, how you communicate yourself in the interview, how much billing rate you have. A lot of things come into the picture. So why I'm saying this is my classmates took 9 months. I asked them what happened. I thought you've been smart in your domain. They said, you know what? I'm competing with the younger generation. I'm competing with the people who are smarter than me. I'm competing with the people who are willing to take less salary than me. You see, you know what? It makes sense, correct? That's why I always recommend people, you know what, always have a plan B. You are working on a job, no problem. If you are eligible to work on something else, try to have something part-time all the time, correct? Always. We are here for American dream. If you really want to fulfill American dream, unless you are in high-paying jobs like, you know, doctors, attorneys, and whatnot, it is difficult for us to really pursue our American dream. That's why I recommend people, you know what, hey, if you're doing work, great job, try to build another skill set. Try to do something part-time, which could help you to get your American dream come true. That's how I always recommend people to do that. Okay. And look at the stock market, correct? All of us know it was 4,800, highest of S&P 500 in beginning of the year. Now it's gone to the lowest. It actually gone to 3666. Actually, if you remember correctly, 3666 magic number, correct? It's gone to that low. So within three to 4 months time, people lost. I'm talking to the people. They talk about, oh, Giri, I lost 50%. Some people say very aggressive. I lost 80% in stock market. I feel so bad for them, correct? 80% meaning they're not following the fundamentals. When the entire S&P 500 is only 20% down or 30% down, somebody lost 80%. What is it? What does it tell? Correct? People not paying attention to the fundamentals of finances, personal finances. So today's topic, I think I was talking to Dinesh ji, asking him, what should I cover today? Correct? What makes sense? So he was interested to talk about market is volatile at this point of time. So markets are up and down. People are skeptical about the market growth. People are expecting recession. They're looking for a real estate to go. There are a lot of things that are happening. So Dinesh ji said, you know what, Giriji, knowledge is good, but try to focus on the areas which would help our community members to know potentially the new avenues of saving their money. Correct? New avenues. So I'm going to talk about non-conventional talk today, not the conventional talk. Like, you know, I'm going to talk about options. I'm not going to talk about stock market, crypto, not my foray. I'm not going to talk about them. I want to talk about what other vehicles are available in the market where you can potentially leverage, which would not really impact you financially badly the way a lot of people lost money in stock market. Okay. With that, alternate financial vehicles during the volatile market is our our topic. So as mentioned, correct, I've been working with Shweta ji for over a year, and really phenomenal questions she asked me. I helped a lot. I worked with her a lot. I mean, I'm very happy that she joined to learn about all these personal finances. That's what it is, point, correct? If you know, you can share. If you don't know, you can't share, correct, to other people. So I like the people who are coming forward to learn for themselves and also willing to help other people. So that's how there's only way to reach 1 million community, 1 million people in my life. That's why I'm willing to share all I know to everybody, no filters. And then people want to learn, I want them to learn and then help themselves and also help the community around them. Okay, so today's focus is alternate financial vehicles during volatile market, number one, mostly on for retirement side of it. Okay, that's what we're going to cover today. With that, see, I was talking about investments, correct? Look at this one. 20 years annualized returns by asset class. Average investor returns was 2.1%, whereas S&P 500 is 7.8%. What does it mean? The investor, I'm talking about 1992 to 2011. I'm talking about 20 years of annualized return. Average is 2.1%. So average investor who puts the money, takes the money, puts the money back again, they earn only 2.1% versus people just left the money in S&P 500, did not bother anything, they got 7.8%. Why this low? Because of the emotional investments, number one. Also because of discipline, right? Not following the fundamentals. No diversification, no asset allocation, no asset rebalancing, all the stuff that is going to be happening. And let's look at another number, 1999 to 2018, another 20 years, is much worse than before. 1.9% is the average investor return, versus S&P 500 give 5.6%. Right? So point I'm to make, even the bonds did much better job. Even the people put the money in the gold get better job than investors, basically, correct? Why it is happening? Because people don't follow the discipline of putting money into the financial vehicles. So with that, correct? So we always talk about the financial foundation. So we want to buy a house. That's what is very important for us, no problem. And then having a protection. When is the protection? What is it? Health insurance, life insurance, car insurance, home insurance, long-term care insurance. These are the foundation for building a good house. If you don't have these, you are not stable in the financial foundation. you're not strong enough. Once you build this protection side, when people do is emergency fund, put 3 to 6 months of emergency fund for any emergencies. And then people go with the low risk investments like bonds, I-bonds that the government is giving, annuities, active management. Instead of we managing it, give somebody else to manage it so that they can do better job without putting our emotions into picture. Correct? They have a lot of software tools and trends they can actually analyze. And then it costs money to give it to the active management. They generally do what I heard is they give 3 to 5% more returns than most of the people that are investing on their own. Correct? And then also we talk about index programs. Last time we did touch base a little bit on last presentation. I'm going to talk a little bit deeper today about index programs. Index programs means when market go up, it go up. When market goes down, you don't lose money. Correct? That's called index programs. We'll talk about that. And then also where people go for high risk like stocks, mutual funds, ETFs, talk about cryptocurrency and all that stuff. No problem. Right? There are a lot of things that can put this. So a lot of things when I meet people, what I realize is they don't take care of the foundation. People play with this only on the top. That's okay. They can see ups and downs. They may see a lot of growth as well, but foundation is not strong. We can't build a stronger house without a stronger foundation. So my request to everybody is focus on the foundation, follow the principles. You should see the success, pretty much everybody, because that's what everybody follows. And today, I know everybody know about health, life, auto. I'm not going to spend time on this. The long-term care is one of the important pieces that we need to talk as part of the retirement. So I'm going to talk about that and then jump into a lot of case studies today. I'm going to talk about examples. Okay, a person is 40 years old, what they can do. A person is 48 years old, what they can do. I'm going to talk about all those stuff in the upcoming presentation, upcoming slides. Okay. Dinesh and Taleshji, am I in a good pace? My communication, everything okay?
Yeah, you're on a good pace, Giri.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So foundation for any finances is tax structure. So we do have a tax experts here, but I'm not going to talk about how to really do the tax saving and other stuff. I'm only talk about understanding what tax structure that we have, so we can actually play well and understand them and save your money. So we have three kinds of tax buckets: taxable bucket, tax deferred bucket, tax exempted, or tax advantage bucket. People call tax advantage or tax exempt. What does it mean here? Let us look at this. We have savings, stocks, mutual funds. All of them are in taxable account, meaning you pay the tax and invest money. It grows. For the growth, you pay capital gain tax and reinvest that again, and you pay capital gain tax again. So keep going, correct? That's what is called taxable. You keep paying taxes. When you say tax deferred, like 401k, 403b, IRAs, FIRAs, annuities, pensions, all the stuff, to look at this, tax deferred accounts. You don't pay taxes to the government or IRS when you put the money, but when you take the money out, you're going to pay the entire principal as well as the growth, correct? That's called tax deferred accounts. So what does it mean? From, let us say you are 35-year-old, you're going to work for 30 more years until 65. You're growing your assets in this tax deferred account. IRS/Uncle Sam is still your partner in your growth. When you take the money, you have to pay the taxes to Uncle Sam as per the current tax laws of that point. Basically, taxes could be up or down. We don't know, based on at that point of time, whatever the current tax rates are there, they have to follow that and then pay the taxes. They're all tax deferred accounts. When it comes to the tax exempt accounts or tax advantage accounts, you put the money after paying tax, and money can keep growing. You'll never pay taxes onto the growth, basically. That is called tax advantage accounts or tax exempt accounts. What do we have there? Roth IRA, Roth 401k, 529 plans. These are kids' education plans, saving money for kids' college plans. And a tax-free bond. What is this? Basically, they are also called municipal bonds. Let us say you are in Ohio. Let's say Columbus, for example. Columbus wants to build one library. They want some money. What they do? They float municipal bond. They expect people to put the money. They give 2 to 3% money. They give it so that they can build a library for the community. They pay off those interest to the community in later stage. Right? That's how it is. The tax-free bonds. And the last one is 7702 Basically, I just put IUL here, Index Universal Life, but they also have a whole life, universal life, variable universal. There are a lot of other things are available in this. 7702 is a tax code for cash value life insurance plans. Cash value life insurance plan. A lot of people are not aware of this. Some people are aware of it, but a lot of confusion. So I'm going to talk a little bit more deeper in today about how do we leverage these programs? What are the benefits of using them? Because rest of them, if you see, correct, IRA, 401k, you all know all of them. I'm not going to talk really more about that. I'm going to talk more about this today, which is alternative vehicles for people to leverage the program to do good. Okay. You look at this. This is fixed, correct? Savings, rental income, and tax-free bonds. They get fixed income returns wise. When look at the stocks, mutual funds, 401k, they are variable. They can go up and down with the market, correct? Whereas annuities and this cash value life insurance, IULs, they have indexed basically. What does it mean? When market goes down, it doesn't go down. When market go up, it will go up. So these two, correct? Annuities and pension. I'm going to talk a little bit more deeper today because this is one of the gray area for a lot of people. So these two is the focus area for today from most of the cases I'm going to take. I'm going to not talk about stocks and other stuff anyways, as people already know about that. Okay. So a lot of people ask me question, Giri, should I put money in 401k or Roth 401k? Can I put money in IRA or Roth IRA? This is a common question people ask. Or why should I put money in this account, 7702? Why not put into these accounts? A lot of times the same question keep coming and coming, correct? So I want to talk about is, if you look at the federal history, federal tax history, correct? Some point of time in the history, this is from 1917 to 2019, the wealthy people's tax bracket was 92% actually. Meaning wealthy people pay 92% of some portion of their income, 92% taxes. Okay, this is maybe because of the World War II and all the stuff. Great. Okay, what about, look at this one. They paid 60% for more than 60 to 70 years. Correct? So what leads for higher taxation? What is leading to higher taxation? What drives down lower taxation? Correct? We did talk about this last time. I want to just recap this. Generally, people, financial experts attribute the tax rates attributes towards the percentage public debt to GDP. That this is the debt America has. Correct? It goes up. It gone to 121% public debt to GDP, and then gone down. So taxes gone down, kind of thing. Correct? If you look at this. Now, in 1944, the percent public debt to GDP was 121%. That's why tax rates were 90 to 94% are there. Okay. What do we have today? Let's look at this, correct? I took a screenshot a couple of days back. Today we have 123%. Going back here, remember 121% led to 94% taxes for wealthy people, whereas currently we are at 123%. Almost same as what we had in 1944, 80 years back, correct? Look at this, we have $30 trillion national debt. If government said, you know what, we want to clear off all the debt from America, you know what you need to do? Every citizen has to pay $92,000 check to pay off all the debt. That's huge, actually, correct? Every taxpayer owes $243,000 to pay off the debt. So, as per the pundits, correct, this is high. There is no way we can reduce the debt without increasing the taxes. So a lot of people we expected to see increase of taxes in 2025 because there's something called TCJA, Tax Cuts and Job Acts, started in 2019. That is sunsetting in 2024. So 2025 onwards, people are expecting to see higher taxes that pretty much everybody is going to pay. Currently, everybody says for 100 years, over 100 years, we are the least tax brackets now. Most of us, we always say, oh my God, we're paying a lot of taxes. But compare with the UK, compare with Canada, compare with a lot of European countries, we pay much less taxes compared to them. Because there is no other way for the government to remove this national debt. Okay. With that, correct, I want to quickly give an example and get into the fun stuff. Okay. Let us assume this, I have $10,000. I put into, let us say, my 401k. I didn't pay any taxes. I put $10,000 investments. It grown 10 times in next 30 years, for example. Okay, that now it become 100,000. Assuming I will have 25% taxes later also. Assuming IRS did not increase their taxes, they continue with what they already have. Okay, net amount I'm going to get is $75,000. No problem. What if the tax increased to 35% by government? Same growth, I'm going to pay 35% taxes. Net is going to be $65,000. Okay. Now assume that third option. You know what? I paid money now, 25% taxes. I put 7,500. It grown 10 times. And what happens? I don't pay taxes later. I still have 75,000. So what I'm trying to say here is, if you think taxes are going to stay as is, never going to go up, assume that scenario, whether you put money here in tax deferred or tax advantage, your net is same, no problem. But if there are any chances that taxes are going to go up, we are going to lose money by putting into tax deferred accounts. Okay, again, it is not for everybody. Because sometimes you think about where are I going to retire. Let us say I live in California. Let's say I'm going to retire in Texas, for example. Maybe I don't have state tax. Then there's a different way of looking at it, basically, correct? A lot of strategies you can do it. Where you look, what is the location? What will be your income? See, let's talk about income. A lot of people tell me, oh, I'm making 150K today. When I retire, I don't need 150K. That is true. But if you have the same lifestyle and no inflation, remember we talked about inflation can keep increasing. It can be much. It maybe take 150K in retirement also. Basically, correct. I'm going to talk about next slide. What is the inflation? How it impacts retirement? Okay. So you may take the same amount of income even after 20 years, 30 years. That means your tax bracket is going to be much higher than what you're expecting here. Right? So there are a lot of things that you need to consider. That's why what we do is we sit with one-on-one. We do the financial planning. You project the cost of living expenses for next 15, 20, 30 years and see, are you going to be in good shape with the retirement planning? That's what we do as part of the personal financial strategies. So with that, I want to talk more on retirement timing and retirement planning. I'm going to talk a little bit advanced stuff. Please bear with me. If you have any questions, please put in the chat. We can talk about them or we can talk about them at the end of it. Okay. So typically for any retirement, correct, there are biggest challenges are 6, correct? Taxes, they can go up. Actually shown you about what will happen to the taxes. It can go up and down. We talk about inflation, not in our control, correct? Healthcare costs, is it in our control? Probably yes. If you stay healthy, stay fit, probably we can reduce your health expenses, correct? But I think again, we don't know. It could be hereditary. It could be anything else also. We don't know that, correct? So there's another thing. This is biggest cost. Long-term care cost is another big thing that people are not aware of it. Especially I see, at least in our community, I haven't seen many people even knowing about long-term care. They don't even know what long-term care means. So I'm going to talk a little bit more on that today. And then another thing is called longevity. So a lot of people, when I spoke to for financial planning, they say, oh, Giri, plan that I'm going to live only till 80 years. Okay, I can do that for 20 years planning. But what if you live longer than 80? If you don't have enough money for retirement, what are you going to do, correct? So it's always you should plan for longevity, meaning assume that you are going to live longer. Then if we plan for that, if you leave early, no problem. We are going to give a lot of assets to the next generation, correct? But if you don't plan for that, it will become a burden for the our kids and next generation. So I look at always longevity is the thing that we need to focus on, correct? And also talk about market risks. Market can go up and down. Think about this, guys. When people already retired for 10, let's say retired in 60, they are already in retirement for 7-8 years. Now market crashed the way it crashed 4 months back, 30-40%. Think about it, how much worry they will go through, correct? So when you're during retirement, we don't want to worry about market risks. You should not care about it actually, correct? Market go up and down, no problem. Can I get my check every month? That's what we should look at, correct? I'm going to talk about those strategies. How do we guarantee lifetime income? How do we guarantee lifetime income without worrying about the market risks? Okay. With that, correct, there was a survey done by Transamerica. They asked all the people over 50 years and said, hey, what is your biggest fear? 43% people said outliving savings and investments. For the what we thought, 100K or 1 million is good enough, but may not be good enough. Correct? And 38% people said declining health that requires long-term care. So can you guys give a thumbs up? How many people know about long-term care? I'm really interested to know how many people know long-term care. It's not a disability insurance. It's not about health care. It's not Medicare. It is long-term care. Okay, so a lot of people not aware of it. Another problem is social security will be reduced or won't exist. Another challenge people are worried about. So there was another survey done by Allianz. They said, you know what? Hey, just answer 2 questions. Are you fear of death or fear of outliving money? 61% people said they're fear of outliving money. Correct? So that is a real genuine problem in the market now at this point of time. So with that, I want to go deeper into retirement planning. So people get confused between investment planning and retirement planning. When you talk about investment planning, goal is higher returns. How can you get maximum money for investments? Whereas for retirement planning, this is not important. Higher income, last forever. This is important. This is the goal. We need to get a higher income and should stay forever. That is the goal of retirement. People confuse, oh, I want to not getting enough money in my retirement. There is something wrong there, correct? It's not the purpose of that, basically. What are the challenges here? Market risks, capital gain tax. You have to pay capital gain tax on investments. Lack of financial knowledge. Correct? Another problem that people may go through, investment side of it. That's why we saw 2.9%, 2.1% returns for average investor for 20 years. Why? Because lack of knowledge. When it comes to the retirement planning, what are the challenges? Longevity. They plan for a certain number of years. They may live longer than that. Then there's a problem. This one, market return sequence. I'm going to talk a little bit more deeper today and also the long-term care today. These two are a very important thing. I'm going to cover deeper. Okay. With that, let's talk about cost of living, correct? Let us say today I need $50,000 per year, approximately $4,000 per month for my living expenses. With the 3% inflation, in 10 years time, I need $67,000. In 20 years, $90,000. In 30 years, I need $121,000. I'm talking about 3% inflation. So 50,000 is not good enough in 30 years. We need to have 2.5 times almost, correct, to get the same cost of living, same lifestyle. How do we get this? This is because of the inflation. So when you do the planning, you should not plan for 50,000. You should plan for this one in 30 years. It could be this much in 20 years. If we are going to retire in 10 years, we should plan for this one, not this one. We have to look at the inflation. It could be 5%, it could be 10%. We don't know, correct? Average is 3% historically. So we consider 3% inflation and then calculate the retirement planning. Okay. Now coming back to the long-term care. What is long-term care? If anybody become disabled because of accidents, chronic illness, or aging, the person cannot do 2 out of 6 things, daily activities. What are they? Bathing, dressing, eating, toileting, transferring. If we cannot do 2 out of 6 things in this, 2 out of 6 things in a day, that means they need activities of daily living assistance. We need to hire somebody, or we need to take help from the spouse or kids or other family members. This becomes too much stress for the family. If you want to hire somebody, it becomes financially stressful, correct? So look at the number. Who will pay this, correct? Oh, maybe not. I have health insurance. Maybe I have a Medicare. I'm 65 already. Let's look at this. There are 70% chances that most of us need long-term care after 65. If you're 65 and above, there's 70% chances we need long-term care. So we are almost 35 people here, correct? 70%, approximately 25 people, 25 of us, if you live longer than 65, we need long-term care. That's the statistics coming from the government. That is really scary number, correct? And the interesting thing is, only 22% people have long-term care. Though we need 7 out of 10 people need long-term care, only 22% people have long-term care in the US, especially in our community, maybe less than 2% people have it, not 22, because not people are not even aware of it. Why? We are mostly first generation immigrants. We haven't seen our parents, grandparents going through this cycle of retirement, long-term care. That's why we are not even aware of it. That's the biggest blind spot for us. That's why I really like this concept of educating on long-term care. What does it mean? How much it costs? How do we take care of it? Let us look at this. Who will pay for the long-term care? Medicare don't pay. They pay only for first 20 days full. 21 to 100 days is copay. After 100 days, everything is out of pocket. Everything is out of pocket. Let's talk about Medicare. Right? If you want to use Medicare or Medicaid in other states, you have to spend down first. You have to spend your money, your assets, and government will make a decision when they can pay the coverage. Interesting thing is, some states, the maximum amount you can have in your assets is $5,000. If you have more than $5,000 in your assets, they don't pay. Medicaid will not come. $5,000. Think about that. Is it a lot of money? Most of us are going to have more than $5,000. You may not even qualify for Medicaid. Okay. And a lot of people do is they take long-term care insurance, or they do personal savings. They keep the money aside. They use that money, or they can drain their 401k IRA. Some people do the reverse mortgage. They sell the house because there's no other choice. It's very expensive stuff. Okay. Let us look at this. I took two examples. One is Seattle area, another is San Francisco, where I live. Currently, per month, it is $6,000, $6,700 per month. If you want to hire somebody for 44 hours per week, it is costing $6,700 per month out of pocket. Same thing in 20 years is going to be $12,000 per month, which we have to pay out of pocket. If somebody is staying in a nursing home facility, is costing $12,000 per month today, it will cost $20,000 per month in 20 years. This is all out of pocket. Think about it. Correct? When it comes to San Francisco, a little bit higher. Excuse me. Approximately $25,000 per month here. Correct? Excuse me. If you don't plan for this, how do we have American dream here? If somebody needs long-term care, like as I mentioned, 70% of us may need long-term care. How are we going to take care of it? Correct? That's why we always recommend people to talk about long-term care. I'll skip this quickly. We have few options. People do save the money, no problem. Keep aside the money, or they can do month to month, like auto insurance. They can keep paying every month. If they need long-term care, the company will pay 4 or 5 years. They pay a lot of money for a long-term care cost. Second option. Or some people, what they do is they do something called linked benefit. They put lump sum money, or they pay for 10 years. They pay for 15 years. Let's assume this. They put $100,000 aside in this linked benefit plan program. The company, the life insurance company, the long-term care company, what they do is, if the person needs long-term care, they pay 4 to 6 to 10 times of 100K. Depends on what is the age that you are in. Okay. If you are 10 years into the plan, they'll pay you maybe 6 times. You're in 15 years in the plan, they may pay 1 million for 100,000. So they keep increasing based on the inflation. They call linked benefit. Okay. You put 100K aside. If you need long-term care, they pay 4 times to 6 times to 10 times to 15 times. If you never used it and we pass away, the $100,000 will go back to family. No problem, correct? We're not losing money, but we're not growing it, but it gives a peace of mind for a lot of people. The last one is, a lot of times people what they do is, this is the most popular option. If you have a permanent life insurance already, any of you have permanent life insurance, call your agent and ask them, hey, can you add long-term care rider? Okay, very simple. It doesn't cost a lot of money, very small amount you have to pay for long-term care rider. If you already have a permanent life insurance, you can add a long-term care rider on top of it. This is the easiest, cheapest option that you can actually follow. Okay, out of all of them. Okay, with that, correct, I've been talking about this. Now, what is permanent life insurance? A lot of people know about term life, correct? We have a death benefit. Something happens to us, we get the money, tax-free money come to the family. When is a permanent life insurance, which is cash value life insurance plan, is we have death benefit and also cash value. Cash value can grow with the S&P 500 or the Dow Jones or those indices, and when it grows tax-free. Okay, I want to talk a little bit more deeper on that today. So as I mentioned, it has two components. One is death benefit. You can also have a terminal illness, long-term care, you can coverage. We can do all of that. And on the right side, we also have a cash value. What does cash value means? The money that is growing in this account is tax advantage. You can access this money tax-free. Remember a third bucket, tax now, tax deferred, and tax advantage or tax exempt. So this falls under 7702 category is tax advantage. The money that is growing is tax-free. And downside protection. When market goes down, we have a protection not to lose the money, and also can grow with the market. Okay, and also flexible saving. When market up, we can say, you know what, this year I want to put maximum, next year I want to reduce it. We can do all those things as part of the program. Okay, what are the features? Quickly, if you look at this, we can do flexible funding. We can have long-term care, terminal illness riders, no problem. Tax deferred cash accumulation. You can grow the money compounding without paying any taxes during the lifetime of this plan. And you can take the money anytime you want, even before 15.5. If you look at 401k, IRA, Roth IRA and all the stuff, what happens? You cannot access the money before 15.5. Whereas this one, you can access anytime you want, and no impact to financial aid. If this is not considered as an asset for a FAFSA application, when you're applying for a FAFSA, you put the money in stocks or 5 to 9 plan, they consider as an asset, whereas this one not considered as an asset. And then tax-free retirement. During retirement, when you take the money, tax-free, no taxes on this. And then asset protection. This is another interesting thing is when people sometimes, they are in business, somebody can sue us, they can come behind our assets, right? Our house and stock market accounts and all the stuff. But this is away from the creditors. A lot of people shelter their assets into the life insurance 7702, where creditors don't come on the life insurance plans. Okay, that's how people protect their assets also. Also, a lot of times people have divorce, for example, correct? They have to give their 401ks. We have to split their assets, correct? Whereas the life insurance doesn't count as an asset. So they don't split the life insurance plans with the spouse when they have a divorce, those kind of things. Okay. With that, I'm going to talk about some examples. They're very interesting ones. What will happen when the market is ups and downs during retirement? Okay. So let's talk about this. Somebody have $100,000 into this account. $100 in this account. Let us assume this is the market. 29, 18, 25. It keep growing. There was one negative here. One more negative. The 3 consecutive years market is bad. Negative 14, negative 21, negative 12. So if you look at this, this is accumulation period. The person is not taking the money from this account. There still money is growing. What happens here? When market is up and then down. So the person have approximately 680K account here. 680K is an account. Let us assume this. When the person put 100,000, market crashed 3 years consecutively, like negative 12, negative 21, negative 14. See this one here. Negative 12, negative 21, negative 14. When market crashed and then increased, what I did here is I reversed the same numbers again. Correct? Just reversed. What does it mean? During accumulation period, when the market go up first and down, or down first and up later, we're still hitting the same point. We're going to go to the same point. We're going to go to the same point. So we don't really need to, in the long term, we don't need to worry about, okay, market going up now, or when can I enter into the market? No need to worry. As long as don't take the money out, the market go up and down, you can hit the same point. Now, this may not be true when the person is withdrawing money from this account. Let's look at this. Here, the person had 685K. Market is up, no problem. Correct? This account A is going, market is going up and going down. The person is withdrawing 5% every year. 5% of 685K. Every year they're withdrawing. What happens? Because market is going up, even they go down the later, they still have 1 plus 1.2 million, $1.3 million assets already have. Think about this. Same account, when the person started withdrawing 5%, market crashes 3 years consecutively, and then started going up again. But what happened? Everything has become zero in 13 years. Are you guys following me? When market is going up, when you're accumulating the assets, market up and down doesn't impact the end goal. But when you're withdrawing money during retirement, when market go up first and then go down, you're okay. But when market goes down first, when you start withdrawing, we're going to lose everything in few years. Zero, correct? You will deplete your retirement assets. This is scary, correct? How do we know when to retire? Let us look at real numbers, correct? I took an example of $200,000 in IRA money. Somebody is taking 5% per year, which is $10,000 per year, with a 2% inflation. Let's look at this. This is 1990. Somebody retired in 1995. They have $200,000 in their retirement account. Okay, market is great. There was a down and great, and then down again, no problem. What happened? The person were able to withdraw $257K in 20 years. Even the account, even after taking $257K, they still have $450K here. They still have $450K. Now, what if the person retired in year 2000? Let's look at this. The person retired in year 2000, same $200,000 IRA money. What happened? Look at this one. Market gone down. In 13 years, it become negative. You see this one here? Negative. How do we know when to retire now? If retired in 1995, we have a lot of money in the IRA. If retired in year 2000 with the same retirement account, we don't have anything after 13 years. How do you manage this? Market ups and downs not in our control. Correct? But we can do planning such a way that we don't deplete our assets like this. Okay. Let's take an example here, correct? If you look at this is the analysis. If you take 4% withdrawal from your 401k and IRA, you can keep having the retirement account forever. Right? Even after that, after 30-40 years, you can still give a lot of assets to the next generation. No problem. Okay, 94% chances. Correct? And then if you see 5% withdrawal, 5% withdrawal, if you look at this one, 1972 to 1996, approximately 25 years here. So if you take 5%, the money becomes zero after 25 years. If you take 6%, lesser years. 7%, lesser years. So our goal is to take less withdrawal from our IRA or 401k so that we can leave a legacy for next generation. Let us take an example here. This is called Monte Carlo analysis. So a lot of advisors use this concept. Most of the people know that, correct? We look at this. We have 60% stocks, 40% bonds mix. 60% stocks, 40% bonds. Assuming I'm going to take 4% per year withdrawal from my 401k IRA. We have 30 years for retirement. We have only 80% probability of having enough money at the end of 30 years. Follow me this. If 60-40 is your market stocks and bonds mix, if you're withdrawing 4% withdrawal every year, we have 80% chances we'll have enough money for retirement. But if you take 3% withdrawal instead of 4%, what will happen? You will have 96% chances that you will have enough money for retirement. Correct? Our goal is reduce the withdrawal so that we have more chances of having enough money for retirement, yet leave a lot of legacy for next generation. Okay, the more that increase it, we are going to have a less chances of. Let's look at the 5% withdrawal, only 56% chances. Correct? So with that, a lot of advisors talk about taking the money from your IRA 401k accounts less than 4%, so that you can have enough money for throughout your life. If you do it in 95 or 100 years, no problem. We have enough money for retirement. Okay. Now I want to take a case study, correct? So how the people do, how do people manage it? Okay. Case study to mitigate the market risk during retirement distribution. Remember, if we take more money, we're going to have a problem, correct? Remember, if we take only 4%, still we have 80% chances. We take 4% withdrawal, we have only 80% chances of being successful, correct? So now let us look at this. I have $1 million. I want to take 4%, meaning I'm going to take $40,000 income I need. Plus I may get social security, I may get some rental income. Probably I'm all good there, correct? I may have enough money for retirement. Now, in this, we know that with this concept, there is 80% probability of successful during the 30-year retirement plan. We looked at it before because of the Monte Carlo analysis. Now, what if you reduce this? If we reduce to, let's say, 3.5 or 3, though we can take 40,000, not 40,000, let's say 35,000, we may be having enough money for retirement forever, correct? So one of the case studies that we did is some customer had $1 million in their portfolio. We want to put 40%, generally bonds, people put 40% bonds, correct? Whatever the 40% they had, they put into annuity here. Okay. For 60%, they left it in the investment, 600,000. Correct? So generally the way with market grows, they can, instead of taking 4% or 5%, they can take only 2.4%. Remember, if we take 4%, it goes up, correct? We put 2.4%, it goes down. We can leave it for longer. You can have a lot of assets at the end of the retirement. So 2.4%, they can take 14,400, they can take it. Now, the annuity, which is a new concept I'm going to talk today, is you can guarantee lifetime income. However long we live, doesn't matter. It will give guaranteed income forever. By doing this, what are we doing? We're reducing our withdrawal rate here. So we are leaving a legacy for next generation. Let's look at the next number here. How does it annuity works? Somebody at the age of 50, they put $400,000 in this account. Okay, this is one of the examples from Athene.
Giri,
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt you. There is one question from the audience. Is it okay we address her?
Yeah, this calculation is based on taking 4% out of, that's correct. Yes.
Okay.
You're talking about the previous slide, correct? 4% withdrawal. Maybe you can withdraw you can unmute yourself and talk. This is about 4% withdrawal here.
Khushbu, you can ask directly.
Yeah. Okay. So
yeah, that's
here,
what I meant. Thank you
yes,
so
go
much.
ahead. Sorry, yeah. Here, what we did is $400,000 gone into the annuity. Based on most recent 10-year period, what happened? 400,000 can give, is not guaranteed, but potentially can give $29,000 guaranteed lifetime income. Correct? Once they hit this 29,000, even if market crashes every year, no problem. They get $29,000 guarantee. But market is doing good, what happens? They keep increasing their income. 29,000 become 36,000, become 38, 43, 48, 72. At the age of 74, from same $400,000 annuity, they get $76,000 per year. $76,000 per year. Irrespective of the market, correct? Let us assume this. Somebody put 400,000. They keep withdrawing. How much they're withdrawing here? Let us say they took 510K they took so far. At the age of 71, they pass away at the age 72. What happens? They already took 410K. They also have $600,000 death benefit. This will go to the family. So 450, 500K plus 600, 1.1 million is the benefit for the family. Okay. So what happened here? Suggestion was, whatever the money we put into the bond market, instead of putting in the bond getting 1 or 2 or 3%, put them into annuity, which is called fixed indexed annuity. Okay. Grow the money for 10 years. After 10 years, you can potentially take $29,000 plus income guaranteed for lifetime. Okay. This is one example. So how does it work? If you look at this, this is cash. If you want to position our fixed indexed annuity, it is somewhere here. We don't risk wise, principal and a premium protected. Whatever the money we put, we never lose money. That is protected all the time. Okay. But if you look at the risk side, bonds, variable annuities, they're all stocks, there are higher risks basically. Okay. With that, quickly, what are the features of annuity? Do not lose the value when the market crash. When market goes down, we don't lose money. 400K, it stays 400K. Do grow when market grows. That's good, correct? Some of them are no cost. Some of them are low cost. They charge very small amount to manage your assets. Some of them, they don't even charge anything. That's how it is. Can guarantee lifetime income. They can guarantee. We put the money after a certain number of years, they can say, you know what, this is guaranteed for you forever, irrespective of the market. Okay. Can give peace of mind to us. Also can go the tax deferred growth. You're not paying taxes and the money grows. See this one example here. When market crashed like this in 2008, you stayed there. When market coming back up again, it's growing up. Correct. So that's how the annuity works. When market goes down, we don't lose the principal. When market go up, it grows certain percentage growth based on the S&P 500 index. Remember, when you compare with about average investor getting 1.9% or 2.1%, S&P is doing 5.6 or 7.5%, correct? Similar way here, S&P is doing better job here. S&P is, the index account is growing with S&P 500 here. Okay, this is called fixed indexed annuity. A lot of people have confusion called fixed annuity. Fixed annuity, basically, they give 2 to 3% guarantee, correct? They don't increase the market. When it comes to the fixed indexed annuity, they depend on the S&P 500 index, or Dow Jones index, or City Grandmaster index. There are a lot of other indexes, advanced AA powered index, BNB Paribas index. There are so many indexes that people use to grow their assets in the annuity side of it. Okay. Next example, hope you don't have any questions on this. Next example I have is case study, generational wealth from retirement accounts. How can we leave a lot of money for next generation? Okay. Here example was the client had $1 million beginning of the 65 years. They have to take $70,000 per year, 70,000 every year. They keep increasing 1% inflation here. Okay. Now at the end of 20 years, how much they have? 444K. Correct. That is the end. They're going to give it to the family, next generation. Good. Now I want to talk a little bit more here. There was a market down here, market down, market down, market down. There are 5 years in 20 years, market crashed, negative returns. Now question is, if market is down this year, let us say we didn't take this money, market down this year, we didn't take this money, market is down this year, next year, we didn't take this money, market is down here, we didn't take this money. Same way if we do this, 5 years, we didn't take the money from your 401k. Whenever the market is down, next year, we did not take the money from a 401k. The next year after the following the negative year. Okay. How much you expect? Anybody can say, put in the chat, what will be the end balance here? If you don't take for 5 years, okay, when market is down, what will be the end balance here? Anybody can put in the chat if you can. Any guess? Okay, so if you look at this one, you will have 3.5 million here. If you can avoid these 5 years, negative years, instead of having 444K, we'll have 3.5 million. We can give it as a legacy for next generation. So being smart, correct? Just 5 years, we did not take from the your account when the market is down. 3.5 million assets were given to the next generation. Now question is, how do we manage these 5 years? We should have other source of income, correct? So what people do, the one example here is 40-year-old male, healthy. They took a permanent life insurance, $500,000 cash value life insurance plan. He's putting $600 per month for 25 years, no problem. Average return was considered 6.5%. Instead of taking 70,000 returns, the person can take only 50,000. Why? The money that is coming out from life insurance plans are tax-free. There's no taxes that you need to pay. Whereas in a stock, whereas your 401k, you have to pay taxes, correct? IRA, you have to pay taxes. Whereas here, no taxes because it's coming out from the life insurance plan. Look at this one. Whenever market is down, the person can take money from this account. Market is down, they can take money from this account. Market is down, they take money from this account. So by having the hedging against market losses, you are having a protection, number one. You're putting only 175K aside for this hedging strategy, but you are able to give 3.5 million versus 444K. A huge difference, correct? So those are strategies that we actually work with the clients when you're doing the retirement planning. You know what? Hey, all the eggs are in one basket and the market is down. How do we do? Why don't we do something else? Correct? We work with the clients to do the strategies for the retirement side of it. The next case study that I have is 43-year-old and 40-year-old. Okay, they have 1-year-old kid. Okay, it's a 10-year-old kid. So they're not qualified for Roth IRA. They like Roth because they believe the tax are going to go up. They don't want to put money into the 401k or IRA. They want to put in Roth IRA. They need life insurance extra. They have 20 more years to go for retirement. Right? So one of the case studies we did for the client is, you know what, this one? This is the life insurance plan. This is called cash value life insurance plan. The family took $500,000 plan. Okay. They funded this plan for 20 years, 41 to 60. They paid funded. Every year, they put $12,000 in this account. Follow me this. Every year, they put $12,000 for 20 years. Now, what happened? They have a $500,000 coverage. If anything happens to this individual at 60, the family will get $900,000 coverage. No problem. Total, they funded $240K for 20 years. Now, what happened? They can take $500,000 tax-free money. $240K they put in, they can take $500,000 tax-free money from this account. Even after age 85, they still have $600K plus death benefit. See this one, just follow me this. 500K started, they put 240K in total for 20 years. They took 500K tax-free money. Even after tax taking all the money, they have 600K death benefit. Another interesting thing is this plan also have long-term care. What does it mean? The person need long-term care at the age of 70. They have $700,000. They can take the money out for long-term care. Every month, they get $14,000. $14,000 tax-free money per month for 4 years they can take from this account. See, think about this. A lot of people confuse themselves. You know what? Hey, life insurance means only when we die, we get the money. No. This is when the person is alive, they can take this money every year tax-free for 20 years or 25 years. Correct? And top of it, if they need leverage for long-term care, they can take the money from this death benefit. If they don't want to use it, they're going to give a legacy for next generation. This is one example. Another example is they're 48-year-old, okay, 45-year-old female, one kid in the college, one kid in the job already. They didn't save a lot of money for retirement. They did not pay attention. They came late to US and they have a lot of income now coming from the business. Okay. So they don't want, you know what? Hey, we did not put a lot of money. We are worried about retirement. Let us do something big. Right. They also worried about long-term care. You know what, Giri, if you don't have long-term care, it's going to be challenging. Let us have something in long-term care. In case we need long-term care, I don't want to drain my assets. I would rather have a coverage further. In this case, because they are 48 years old, very interesting, correct? The client took $2 million plan. Okay. They're putting $144,000 per year. Every year, they're putting $144,000 for how many years? 12 years. Now, after 12 years, based on this plan, potentially they can take 193K per year tax-free money. 193K tax-free money all the way. Right? They keep taking. They have 2 million coverage. They put 1.8 million in total because they're earning a lot of money now. Now they can have a guaranteed kind of almost certain to get the predictable income of 190K for the lifetime. If they need long-term care, they can access 3.8 million tax-free money. They have 640K death benefit. Even after taking 3.8 million, they can still leave some money to the legacy for the kids, basically. This is for the people who start late, they didn't plan well, and they came late to US, and now you know what? They want to cover up quickly to put the money to grow their retirement assets. Okay. Now, last one here is some people say, you know what? I don't want to keep paying. I don't have time. I want to just, I sold my house and I got some money from Nepal. I got some money from India. I want to fund this for 4 years and done with this. Basically, correct? Look at this one. They have 1 million plan. They can put 75,000 for a year for 4 years. This is IRS limit. We can't put more than this for $1 million coverage for a 46 years old person, correct? 75,000. They put 300,000 in total for 4 years. Now something happens to them, they have $1 million coverage, no problem. If they need long-term care any point of time, they can take $20,000 from here, from per month. $20,000 per month for 4 years, they can take it if they need long-term care. But they don't need long-term care, they are happy living, good job, no problem. Now they retired at the age of 60. Remember, they paid for only 4 years, no more, correct? Now 60 to 70, they have money from 401k, they used it. Now from 70, they want to use the money from this life insurance. They can take $79,000 per year. $79,000 per year from 71 all the way till 90 years. They can take 1.5 million tax-free money, 1.6 million. They put 300,000 in, they can take 1.6 million out tax-free money. They still have coverage of 275k, basically, correct? So with that, I think what we do is, I hope you guys enjoyed the illustrations and then case studies. I work with a lot of clients. When it comes to the financial planning, one is education. Knowing what we don't know, that's important, correct? Now have a protection, keep emergency fund, manage the debt properly, then create a cash flow. If you don't have a cash flow, there's an opportunity for us to do some business, side hustle, save more expenses so that you can save some cash flow. Do that. So you have to give the cash flow, then build the wealth, and then protect the wealth. So we have a plan wise 7-step plan, correct? Educate yourself first, protection, create the foundation stronger, remove the debts, and then build the cash and create the wealth and protect the wealth. That's how we actually plan. So when people come to us,
Giri,
yes.
Sorry, can you please go back to the previous slide?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and then the 7 money milestones, out of which we are emphasizing on the very first one, the financial education.
Yes.
And once we have right financial education, no matter from which background we come, which profession we are in, how much we earn, but eventually they all transcend down to steps 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7.
Yes, absolutely, Dinesh. We are here for education. Exactly. Yeah. Once we have this education, plan with the rest of them. Yeah. Okay. So when people come to us, it is free. So this is my Calendly appointment. You can just take the screenshot if you want. You can take a screenshot of this. People come for college planning. Right? Giri, I want to save money for my kids' education. What can we do? How do you save money? How do you get a financial aid? We want to save taxes, plan for retirement. We need life insurance, long-term care. We talk about alternate investment strategies. Put money into annuities, put money into retirement planning. We also help people with the estate planning, like will and trust and other stuff, correct? So these are all important pieces for all of us, and we need to plan for them. So we are here to help. Okay, this is no cost for us. It's complimentary. You can sit with you for 1 hour, spend time, explain you all the things that you're missing. You can't see, there's no one rule fit everybody, correct? We have to look at your portfolio. What is your needs? What is your goals? How much cash flow you have? How much debt you have? We talk about a lot of things and then provide solutions for you. We call Financial 360. Okay. And as I mentioned, correct, we help with the estate planning, save money for the college, retirement strategies, long-term care, the other one, term and permanent life insurance for H1Bs, green cards, citizens, doesn't matter, alternate investment strategies, maximizing a legacy for next generation. A lot of people do, hey, you want to put money in real estate. You know what? There are other vehicles available other than real estate to give a legacy tax-free. Talk to us, correct? I can help you with that. And then also business opportunity, correct? So as I mentioned, Shwetaji got impressed by what I do, what I did for their family. She said, you know what? I spoke to a lot of people, Giri. People don't have any idea. So she wanted to get licensed. So she got licensed, preparing for license. She got a license. We wanted to help the community around us with education. It also is a business opportunity. So as I mentioned, I used to be a senior manager in IT, successful employee for more than 25 years. I decided to quit my job, take this full time because potential is huge, opportunity is big, basically, correct? I encourage everybody to think about this opportunity, and if you want to talk to me, I'm happy to talk to you and then talk about what is the opportunity all about, how do we really generate side hustle, and then think about how can we help other people in the community as well. Okay, with that, this is open for questions, Dinesh ji.
Thank you, Giri, for presenting wonderfully. the key insights of financial literacy, different vehicles, different tools, different instruments that we can exercise, and mostly we are not aware of. I'm also on the same boat as many of the viewers are here. I don't see about any question coming up here, but I have one question. That question originally originated from our mindset, our own money behavior. As we are, most of us here, they are either first generation or second generation immigrants to this country. But no matter, even if we are not immigrants, we are back into our own countries, our usual mindset would have been wealth accumulation only. Right? But coming back into this country, there is a huge liability in terms of long-term care, huge liability in terms of college savings for our kids, and also there is a huge tax whenever our kids inherit wealth from us.
Yep.
So can you please talk on especially on this inheritance tax, and how to overcome this wealth accumulation mindset?
Yeah. So very good point, Dinesh ji. So we look at this wealth accumulation side of it. I work with the clients. They work very, very hard, both wife and husband. They work long hours. They create a lot of wealth for them, correct? Without realizing it, how much taxes they're paying, number one. Number two, when they pass the legacy to next generation, they're going to pay a lot of taxes. So currently, the inheritance tax is at $11.7 million. Up to $11.7 million, you don't need to pay any taxes to the government. Okay. After that, any asset that is given to the kids, they have to pay 40% estate tax. The kids have to pay 40% estate tax to inherit the assets, basically. So interesting is the one I talked about, TCJA, Tax Cuts and Job Acts, also increase the threshold from 5.2 million to 11.6 million. That is coming down in 2024. So what does it mean? Anything above 5.2, 5.5 million, you're going to give it to the kids. The kids has to pay 40% estate tax, basically. Okay, that is huge, basically. So you may not even realize it. Talk about your house, some 401k. Remember, you have $1 million. If you plan well, you may give 3.5 million to your kids from 401k itself. Your house can become double or triple, and maybe you have some life insurance plans. All of them give maybe $10 million to your kids. You don't even know that, correct? You're wealthier than what you think, actually, correct? The point is, if you don't know about how do we protect our assets, you may work hard, sacrificing your personal time, and you're paying a lot of taxes to the government, correct? That's why we need to know about those strategies. So we do work with a lot of clients, Dinesh ji. I have clients, by the time they're going to be 85, they're going to give $200, $300 million to the next generation. And how do we do that? Then we talk about advanced planning, correct? What advanced planning means? Can you do the revocable trust? Can you do irrevocable trust? How do you transfer assets to the irrevocable trust? And then who will pay the estate taxes? Then they leverage a lot of life insurance tools. For example, I have a client, they were working on $25 million life insurance plan, correct? What does it mean? When they pass away, instead of the $25 million from life insurance will go to the estate will use that money to pay the government the taxes, so that the kids will never touch their assets. Basically, they have a lot of businesses, a lot of real estate. Oh, I don't want my kids to sell the real estate or sell the business to pay the taxes. That doesn't make any sense. You work hard to build the business, you work hard to build the real estate, and you don't expect your kids to sell the real estate to pay the taxes, correct? So they leverage these kind of tools to offset those taxes, basically. Okay. Especially some states like Washington and some 4 or 5 states, they also have, other than this 40% estate tax from the federal, they also have a state taxes again on top of it. So honestly, we struggle to make when we come here, we always try to make earn money and then grow the money. But problem for wealthy people is much different. They're going to pay a lot of taxes for the government IRS. So we should have strategies to eliminate those taxes, basically. Initially.
So essentially, you are saying that even in our lifetime, we are able to build a huge wealth, but when it comes to inheriting it to our next generation will have to pay upfront state and federal taxes. And in order to avoid the tax amount from the wealth that the kids may be inheriting. You are saying that the parents, they leverage other vehicles like life insurance and others to just offset the upfront tax cost that the kids may have to pay. Is
Yes.
this what you are saying?
Correct. Dineshji, there are very special instruments in life insurance as a tool to give that, they call survivorship or estate planning, estate preservation. There are separate tools only for them. Basically, all the wealthy people leverage them, but we don't know it because we are first generation immigrants. Unfortunate. That's why we need to explore. That's why I come with that knowledge of how do you provide those tools for everybody. Correct. Whether the person is an H1B just making a new beginning here, or somebody here for 30 years making millions of dollars. We have solutions for all of them.
Okay, thank you. Giri, we have two questions from the audience. Hey, Rajesh and Rakesh, why don't you ask yourselves? You can unmute and then ask.
By the way, thank you. This is great resources. I'm Raj. My question is, considering the current market conditions, would you convert your IRAs to Roth? Obviously, I believe there's some tax consequences and there's a limit on income. Could you discuss a little bit on that?
Yeah, sure, Rajeshji. So there is no income limits on converting IRA to Roth IRA. Okay, but there are tax consequences. The way you said, that's right. So when you move the money from IRA to Roth IRA, you have to pay the taxes based on the current income tax levels, and then money will go into Roth IRA. So you're going to pay taxes basically. So there are some strategies. People say if you are intended to move the IRA to Roth IRA, remember this: if your intention is to move money from IRA to Roth IRA, some point of time, people leverage down markets to do that, because you're paying less taxes on the overall IRA portfolio, correct? But is it right for you or not? I can't answer that unless I really know about everything else. Maybe you should talk to the CPA who can help you with that. My point is, when you take the rollover from IRA to Roth IRA, it's called Roth conversion, correct? Into Roth conversion, you're going to pay upfront taxes. Depends on how much. For example, just make it easy. Look at your tax brackets now. What is your aggregated gross income, correct? If by taking an IRA to Roth, moving an IRA to Roth IRA, if you're going to push yourself into your next tax bracket and you're going to pay higher taxes, then you know what, you have to think about twice basically. You know what, should I do it all of them in one go, or you need to spread them into next 2-3 years? There are a lot of strategies people follow, Rajeshji. But point is, there's no income limit for Roth conversion. You can, if you have $1 million in IRA, you can convert them into Roth IRA no time. There's no income limits there basically. But for contribution to Roth IRA, there are income limits. If you want to put money in Roth IRA, filing jointly, your income should be less than $214,000 annual income, 214,000 plus something like that, basically approximately that range. So if you have more than that, you cannot directly put into Roth IRA. People do use backdoor Roth IRA. That is a different concept altogether. So I don't recommend people to do backdoor Roth IRA if they already have IRA accounts. IRA accounts with some money, it will have different tax implications. You should talk to CPA because they should explain you that. But just very simplest way is, if income is more than 214K, you can't directly contribute for Roth IRA. You can do backdoor Roth IRA. Backdoor Roth IRA are advisable only when you don't have any IRA accounts. Okay. If you have IRA accounts, the backdoor Roth IRA is counterintuitive for doing backdoor Roth IRA. So that's what it is. For Roth conversion, there's no income limits, as I know it. Rajesh, did I answer your question?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So I see one more question from Arkesh. Yeah, this is not only for American Dream, it's for everybody, correct? So for the foundations of cash flow, debt management, protection is for everybody, wherever we live, doesn't matter. So the tax laws for America is different. Long-term care costs are different. That's why another thing that I want to talk about here is, when I talk about long-term care plans that I talk about, I always recommend people to have long-term care coverage companies who can cover internationally, correct? See, for example, me, after 55, I really want to stay in India for 6 months here, correct? I want to travel. So I don't want to limit myself to know what, hey, this coverage is only in the US. Because whenever I provide solutions for people, I ask the question, what is your plan for future, correct? They want to travel, I always look at for international coverage. The companies that can provide long-term care solutions wherever you live, doesn't matter, basically. Okay. Hope I answered that question to you. Next one I see is Taleshwar, you want to ask the question?
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much, Giriji, for a beautiful presentation and a lot of information. So my just one small question is regarding like LTC, which you mentioned is like a 6K to 12K expenses, right? So I just want to know what kind of income families that belongs, and what is the like actual reality, because we know whatever the immigrants come to USA, their actual income may be like selling around 100 or maybe 50K, maybe 150.
Yeah.
So what are the possibility for those families too?
So good point. So Taleshwar, irrespective of the income, doesn't matter. If first 20 days, okay, let me put it this way. If for age 65 and less, think about that. Let's say somebody is 45-year-old, they need long-term care. Okay. First 20 days is covered by our health insurance. Health insurance will pay it, basically. After 20 days to 90 days, 21 days to 100 days, we have to pay the copay. After 100 days, everything is you're out of pocket. Government cover doesn't cover anything. Doesn't matter what is your income level. You have to pay from your pocket. Okay. When your assets become less than $5,000, some states they only $2,000 actually, excluding your house. If you have a house, that is excluded from the calculations. If you have a car, that's excluded. Assets only $5,000. Anything above $5,000, if you have money, government doesn't pitch in. When assets become less than $5,000, then they'll come and you know what? Okay, let us take care of you. That is how that works. That's what I see it basically. Okay, that's why long-term care is very, very big monster, is growing, and we don't even know about that basically. So I wanted to say something. Washington State is the first state in the US. They decided, you know what, this is becoming too much for government to manage the long-term care. They introduced a new law last year called Washington Care Long-Term Care Trust Fund. They said everyone having a job must have a long-term care plan. If you don't have it, no problem. We're going to charge you 0.56% payroll tax every month. Because they cannot survive otherwise. The government cannot really support the long-term care system. So they decided to charge 0.56% payroll tax a month if you don't have long-term care plans. That important it is, basically. Did I answer your question, Taleshwar?
Yes, it's very clear. Thank you so much. Yeah. I know it's a lot confusing, but it's good information. So I'm sure it will help everyone. Yeah. Thank you so much, Giriji.
Yeah.
We have one more question, and then also we are approaching the end of our session. So Rajesh again, please go ahead.
And I was just wondering if, let's say, you bought a life insurance from a company, what happens considering GE, for example, used to be the backbone of US once upon a time. Look where they are right now. So what happens if he bought a life insurance from a company and that company goes bankrupt, or it's difficult for that company to survive? What happens to you then?
Yeah, very good point. Really, this is one of the best questions I would say, correct? So life insurance plans, if you look at these companies, Rajesh, that way, when I work with the companies, I want to work with the companies who are there in the business for 100+ years. That will show us they saw the Great Recession, 2008, 2020, they say all of them, they're still there, basically, correct? If you take a company who came 10 years back, I don't know whether they're going to survive or not. So that's why important thing to do is look at the companies who are there for 100 years, basically. Talk about Transamerica, Pacific Life, Nationwide, Prudential, AIG. They have been there for a long, long time, basically, number one. Number two, Rajesh, if you go back to 2008, there are 400+ banks filed bankrupt. 400+ banks, thousands of banks, financial institutions filed bankrupt. But none of the insurance companies really closed their shutters. The only thing that flagged red was AIG. You know that. AIG said, you know what, hey, we are running red, right? Then government has chip in and then help them, because when insurance company fails, the much bigger ripple effect in the economy. They cannot take that. So always government try to protect them, especially the big companies. Okay, number 2. Number 3 is after 2008 AAG, Rajeshji, the National Insurance Commission, NAIC is called NAIC, they put a new rule saying that, you know what, if you are doing an insurance, let's say you're taking $100 million insurance from 100 customers, they are forcing these companies to take something called reinsurance. What does it mean? They go to, let's say Transamerica to 100 million, they go and buy a reinsurance from other company. Okay, so that in case this goes bad, you have another company which can actually pay this money to this company, so they can actually pay to the customers, basically. Okay, third one. Number 4, I should not be saying as an agent, but I want to share this with you. Let us say I'm in California, correct? All the insurance companies that operate in California, they have something called California Association of Life Insurance Association. There's something is there. Guarantee Association of California for life insurance companies. So what does it mean? They all come together. They have to pitch in some fund every time they do some sales in the state. So there is a fund in a state level which also used for protecting the consumers in the state. So there are a lot of I would say protections available around people losing money. This is especially life insurance. Life insurance is more critical than investment. Investment risk, we know that we can lose 90%. You know what? People can close the shutters, but in life insurance is not like that. Right? They have to be very conservative, very, very conservative. That's a good thing about this. Is very, very conservative. Yeah.
Okay. So Saurabh, do you have question? We are at the end of the session now.
Yeah, I think I don't have much question pretty much. I think it was overall a good session. Giriji, thank you so much for the awareness on this financial literacy side. And I think it's most related to the US, something that inheritance tax and this insurance account. I think it is, yeah, I came to know that, yeah, in Nepal we have, in India also we have something like this.
Okay, so fine then. So Giri and Shweta, we have almost reached the end of our session. And then before we conclude, I would like to first thank our backbones who have been providing endless support to us, Mr. Toleserji and Ms. Ruby Devji. Ruby C is again from California, probably Los Angeles, I guess. And we have Toleserji, of course, here, who is much worried about LTC than anything else. So now, before
that's the unexpected one, right? So
yeah. So yeah, Toleserji, would you like to say something before we move on to our president, Ms. Dr. Mridula Guptaji?
I mean, I would say everything is wonderful. I only highlighted LTC because, as the Giriji said, we don't know how many monsters coming up on us. So normal life is going on. We know, right? We can manage those, but unexpected things can happen, which we don't know what can happen. So that's why I just highlighted that one. We should worry about. So thank you so much, Giriji and Shwetaji and Dineshji, for this wonderful webinar. I'm glad to be part of this webinar. Thank you so much.
And then one more thing, I liked one term, Giri, you used, that is Uncle Sam is always going to be our growth partner. Yeah, I have never thought that way, but yeah, it's a growth partner, right? So Mridulaji, if you are there, would you mind?
Yeah, sure. Can you hear me?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, thank you so much, Giriji and Shwetaji, for presenting this webinar and such an information for all of the Nepali and whoever is watching. Sorry, I couldn't join the Zoom because of my technical issues, but I was hearing the whole time, and my husband Raj was also there. We will have this recording for others to view as well on their own time, also on Facebook and YouTube. Once again, I would really like to thank you both for carving out some time and presenting this on a really Saturday morning for you guys. Thank you so much.
Yep. Thank you, Mridulaji. So again, thank you all the viewers, audience. Yeah, thank you all the viewers and audience of Zoom and Facebook Live. We will be sharing the contact details of Giri and Ms. Shweta, and they would be your primary point of contacts going forward for any queries and any financial planning. ANTA, of course, doesn't endorse any plans or instruments, anything as such. We are just volunteering as a community service to all the folks, especially the immigrants from India, Nepal, or people who are living here in US. There is no discrimination at all here, but we appreciate your time. We appreciate your patience, and of course, Giri, you are from California. PST hours. It was too early for you to join here and then provide so many insights about financial literacy and educating our community folks. And thank you all. And yeah, enjoy your day. And we will definitely catch up with another exciting session very soon. And then don't forget to like Facebook page of ANTA. Keep visiting it, following it. You will definitely come to know more and more exciting webinars on different topics that's going to help our community members residing in USA. Thank you all. Have a good day. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah, Tole Sirji, we can conclude our session on Zoom.